What's up, everybody? I'm Wayne, and you're watching The Pit on WGAS NOLA.
I've got this.
Movie review time, guys. And we're talking G.I. Joe Retaliation. So I know what you're thinking. Why, oh, why did they make a sequel to that god-awful G.I. Joe The Rise of Cobra? And I was with you. I was like, why are they making a sequel to a god-awful movie? But this movie, by some miracle, broke the habit of the sequel not being as good as the movie. But I guess when your first movie is complete and utter garbage, you really have to screw up for your sequel to be just as bad. And this one was good. We're not talking, you know, great, but it's good. And I'm pretty sure it'll do a pretty decent box office. And we'll get more G.I. Joe movies, hopefully, done by the same people that did this one. Which is hilarious because the last major movie that the director of G.I. Joe Retaliation did was Justin Bieber's Never Say Never. And I knew that before I saw it, and I was worried because that just doesn't sit right in reality, that someone made a Justin Bieber movie and then made a G.I. Joe movie. I don't know. But he did a good job. And the movie was written by the guys that did Zombieland. And they're doing the sequel to Zombieland, and they're doing the Zombieland TV show. And they did the Deadpool script, which, from what I understand, the Deadpool script is great and will more than likely never get made because it is a hard R script that Disney may never do. And they're doing the Venom script for the Venom movie that Sony wants to do. So their writing is pretty good. Was it executed perfectly? I don't know. I'd have to see the original script, but we're not talking a horrible movie here. We're talking a decent movie, you know, a movie that, you know, you can just throw some popcorn in your mouth and watch and have fun. So the things that happened in this movie, it was great. You had Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes were actually able to be badass ninjas. They were badass in the first one, but not as badass. You had the sequence with Snake Eyes and Duke, and you know, Snake Eyes didn't really get to do much. Snake Eyes' costume this time around is way better, which is hilarious because I'm pretty sure the first movie had a bigger budget than this one, and the costuming in this one looks so much better than the original. They tried to go way over the top in the original, and it was horrible, and it translated poorly. And this one's very, as much as I hate that down-to-earth based in reality stuff, it was, and it worked because the vehicles look like the vehicles from the 80s cartoon, even though a lot of the movie plot of Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow comes from the Marvel comic books. And we have to talk about Duke dying. You know, if you didn't want to hear that, sorry, spoiler alert, post-spoiler alert. Duke dies 20 minutes into this movie. So they build it in all the previews as Channing Tatum being in this movie, and 20 minutes in, gone. And but in the 20 minutes that he was on screen with The Rock, I was kind of sad to see Duke go, because there was a very believable friendship between those two characters going on, kind of like the friendship that you should have gotten out of Channing Tatum's Duke and Marlon Wayans' character in the first one that just did not come across. Between Channing Tatum and The Rock, that friendship felt way more established, and they did it in 20 minutes. By just having Channing Tatum and The Rock playing, I think it was like Battlefield 3, and The Rock's daughters like attacking Duke while he's trying to play the video game. I mean, that one key scene, which they delayed this movie by 6-8 months, and because it was supposed to come out last summer, and it came out now, and they said it was for post 3D conversion. I didn't see it in 3D. From what I've heard of 3D, at times you can't even tell there was a conversion, which means they didn't do much. I honestly think it might have been to add some stuff to the opening so that they could milk as much Channing Tatum as they could. And I'll admit, I was kind of sad, you know, from a fan point that's like, you know, Duke died, and it was really awesome the back and forth he had with The Rock and Roadblock. But, you know, Duke died in the old G.I. Joe cartoon movie too, and it didn't last long. So I wouldn't doubt it if this would made enough money that they kind of somehow figured out how to bring Channing Tatum back. Last movie we had a cameo by Brendan Fraser. This time around we had a cameo by Walton Goggins. I know who you're thinking. Who's Walton Goggins? Who? Boyd Crowder. You know, Justified. Boyd Crowder was in this movie playing a prison warden that was holding Cobra Commander and Destro. That was great. I kind of like vocally approved of this in the movie theater. I was like, it's Boyd Crowder. But that was a pretty cool cameo. RZA played in this movie. It was very homage to old Kung Fu. He was playing Blind Master. It was, you know, it was. I enjoyed Man with the Iron Fist, so this was kind of like a neat homage to like old Kung Fu too. And you get like this whole side story of Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes and that whole thing, which follows the Marvel comic of the origin of, you know, the backstory, not origin to say, but the backstory of Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes. And I'm just gonna have to cut there because I'm reading. Other than that, it's a great movie. I vastly approve of this movie. Go out, see this movie. That stupid Host movie is out, you know, from Stephanie Myers, who did all the Twilight movies. And this is basically her version of movies that has action in it, because the Twilight movies never had a single bit of action in them. Go see this movie instead, because this movie's great. And you know, Channing Tatum. You tell your girlfriends Channing Tatum's in it, and they won't mind that. It's because you're not lying. You'll just be dead 20 minutes in. And for guys, if you know, you Adriana Pollock's in it, and my God, she is ridiculously hot. I really wish her Wonder Woman TV show would have not been as crappy as it was, and would have got picked up for a series. But it's made up for in this by a red dress, a sports bra, and the reflection in the TV. I'm going to let you go and watch that, and you report back to me if you understand exactly what I just said. But anyway, go see G.I. Joe Retaliation. It's great. It kind of ignores the first one and does its own thing, and it's all the better for it. So that's it. Back on schedule. I better be back on schedule. One video a week. I'll figure it out. I have a very large short film that I'm trying to film this weekend and next weekend, and hopefully it will be done for the 15th of April, which is not that long from now. So, that's it. Like, subscribe, thumb up this video, comment, leave your comments. If you want to see me review other things, that doesn't just have to be the random movie that comes to the theater. If I have access to it, I'll give it a look, and I'll tell you what I think of it if you want to know what I think about it. This is a slow process. We're going to try and get that big YouTube money. So, later.